Man, I love all these people are asking me all these questions 2 minutes before this thing starts.
We're live. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Fight the power. I'm trying to see. I don't see it yet. Load it, baby. Oh, wait. Oh, I see Troy. Troy's up there. He's watching. Let me see. Raw Food City, yeah. I don't see it, Gino. Oh, is it on Hamilton Radio, not Raw Food City? Hello. All right. Hello, everyone. No dead air. We are Raw Food City. I'm just waiting for Gino to share it to me so we could share the world.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I got it. Let me see. Oh, yep, he shared the link. There we are. Look at us. Look at us. Shit.
Can you share that link on my page by chance, bro?
Yes, that's what I'm going to do right now. Share to a group. Let's do Juice and Mama. Boom. There we go. We're good. I just shared it to your page.
Great.
Oh, yeah. Overcome SMIRZ on the bottom. Beautiful. More options. Copy. All right. I'm going to go to Raw Food City. And we are officially live. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Chad Overcome SMIRZ in the house. Hello, everybody. Raw Food City. Man, I couldn't be more excited to interview you. I don't even know where to begin because you're such a rock star in the juice world. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I love how you put 698. First off, why 698 and not 700?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I ask myself that all the time because I think there was actually a period of time that I was a little over 700. But when I started, I was 698. But I don't know. For me, it wasn't like trying to admit to that 700 mark. So it was 2 pounds less than 700. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Oh man, it's just absolutely unbelievable. So what? Okay, first question. What inspired you to not have, sir? I'm sure the surgery question was in your mind all the time about, you know, just going to get it done, cut your stomach in half, and just do it that route. What inspired you to juice, to do the liquid diet? Was there like some guru that like got your attention, like what happened to me? I mean, what happened with me was, in 2010, I seen a YouTube video of Dan McDonald, and he helped this truck driver out that lost like 170 pounds, and he was a truck driver, and he was overweight, and he started juicing, and I started watching the Dan McDonald YouTube videos, and the way Dan McDonald popped off the camera, it completely changed my life, and from 2010 to 2016, I basically was jumping on and off juice fast. You know, like I always had that juice fast power in my pocket, but I never really played the card. What inspired you? What was it, Chad?
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of how it all started out was I seen Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead from Joe Cross.
Joe Cross, yes. I also watched that video. Absolutely amazing. That's incredible.
So basically, I ended up watching. I don't know. I was sitting at home one day, and I was, just feeling pretty down, depressed, and I was going through Netflix, and I happened to see this Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and I'm like, oh, it looks kind of interesting. Let me check it out. So I started reading into, the description of what the video was and whatever, and then decided to check it out. And Joe has, which I can't say this right, but he's got that disease thing, like the cold that's like the urtica, whatever it's called. I can't think what it's called.
Okay.
I got the same exact thing. So I've got the same thing. So in the video, he was talking about how he was doing his juice fast. He was hoping it was going to cure that, whatever,
Right.
And man, I'll just say, but when I seen his results, when I seen he went 60 days, and I want to say he lost like 86 pounds, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but I think he lost like 86 pounds or something in that range in 60 days, and just stopped drinking juice and whatever. And I was like, man, that's pretty wild, that he could do that. And it was like kind of started thinking about it. I'm thinking, man, that'd be kind of a cool thing to try and whatever. But I'll tell you, it was probably at least another 3-4 years past the time I watched that before I finally, a year ago, decided to actually do it. And
yes,
my son had come home from school one day, and he had already watched that documentary with me too, like 4 years earlier, but I don't think he actually remembered.
Okay.
He came home from school, and he's like, Dad, I want to start juicing. And I'm like, well, where's that coming from? And he's like, well, we watched a documentary in school today, and this guy juiced for 60 days and lost a bunch of weight and whatever and got real healthy and whatever. And I said, yeah, you're talking about Joe Cross. You're talking about Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. He said, yeah. So he's like, why don't you and I start juicing together? So I kind of thought about it, and I was like, I was toying around with the idea, but I still hadn't fully committed to wanting to do it, right? So
I want to cry right now.
Kind of I talked about it over about 2-day course of time, and then him and I decided, you know what, let's look into this and maybe think about getting serious about doing this thing. And so I started talking with him about it, and then I'm a divorced single dad, so he lives with his mom pretty much most of the time. I get him every other weekend. And he went back to talk to his mom about it, and she basically kind of really wasn't on board with it and, said it was going to be too expensive and whatever. So long story short, as far as he's concerned, he wasn't able to end up doing it. But, it was about a week after that I decided I was going to do it. It took 5 days for my juicer to show up. And then in that 5-day period of time, I was kind of processing leading up to that point of, buying vegetables and getting things ready and getting recipes and that kind of thing. So, I think it was the night before my juicer actually showed up, and the night before I decided I was going to start, I made a juice, which I put a video out a long time ago, and I made my first juice and tried it out. I was like, man, that's pretty good, So
right.
And the rest is history, brother. Like now I'm at 423 days right now, I think so.
Unbelievable. Really, absolutely remarkable. I mean, the whole world should know about you and what you've done, and especially anybody who's trying to get healthy and lose weight. I mean, it's just and basically to live like to I'm sure your entire life, like month by month, just kept changing and changing, and you're like, every single month that goes by, you see what you've done, and you just can't stop. Right? I mean, you just see the results and you're like, oh, I'm going to keep going. Like I'm sure there was no stop in front of you because of what was going on with you.
Yeah, I've got a pretty long history, man. It's like you said, it's unfortunate we don't have more than an hour because I could sit here and talk to you about this for, the next 48 hours. But
yes,
if you kind of go back, a little bit to a little bit of my history, I don't know if you've seen my previous videos or whatever, but all through high school I was in really good shape, and I was a football player and did really well and whatever. It wasn't until about somewhere around the mid-20s when I started actually kind of noticing that I was gaining weight and whatever, and then right. I was kind of in that period of time where I did a lot of up and down. I'd lose weight, gain it, I'd take 50 pounds off and put, 70 pounds back. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So
wow, yes.
I went through that for a long time, and then in 2004, I was actually diagnosed with like really severe sleep apnea.
Oh my God! In 2004?
Yeah, 2004. I was diagnosed with severe sleep apnea, and I started gaining a massive amount of weight. Just was feeling really tired all the time and worn down and whatever. So I went and had my sleep study done, and they said that I was waking up like 65 times an hour. I was having sleep interruptions like 65 times an hour. So.
Oh my God, that was just like my friend and just like me at the end. Like, as soon as I passed that 300 mark, that was it. I could not sleep anymore, and that's when my body started going through drastic changes. I knew health-wise, I didn't feel right anymore. Like, I was always kind of like a jumpy, fun kind of fat guy, you know, almost like Chris Farley type. I could do a cartwheel and, you know, and have fun with it. And I was big into comedy and stuff like that, did a lot of TV shows. And it was when I passed that 300 mark that I started going down road because of sleep apnea. Sleep apnea was really the exclamation point on my heaviness. But it's amazing that happened to you in 2004, and then you just kept gaining weight. Like in 2004, what do you think your number was? I'm assuming you were past 300 by then, right? Like when you actually got diagnosed.
Hold on one second, Mark. Get an interruption here. Okay, sorry about that. You there?
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Sorry about it, Ron. 2004.
Like when they actually diagnosed you.
You know, that's hard to remember back, man, where I was at in 2004, but I want to say roughly I was probably somewhere in the 400s at that point.
Oh, so you made it. You actually made it past the 300 mark. Like that's.
Oh yeah.
That's like
it's
amazing.
I was working too. I was working and I was doing fuel delivery. I was doing. I had a moving and delivery company, you know, that I had started up and was doing. But at that period of time, I was doing kind of had a slow period, so I was working doing fuel, like fleet fueling. So I'd go around to different places and fuel up dump trucks and equipment and that kind of thing. So you had to do a lot of climbing up and down on these things, right?
Right.
And man, that was tough. It was getting to be harder and harder to do. I mean, it was like that's when I really started, you know, getting upset and depressed and whatever because it was, you know, it was getting really hard to even do my normal stuff, right? So
how tall are you?
Kind of a tough deal, but you know, that's when I basically thought, okay, well, I need to get something done, so I'm gonna go and have this sleep study done. Had the sleep study done. They said I need to be on a CPAP machine. Tried the CPAP machine. I couldn't tolerate it.
Right.
Like, I could never tolerate that machine. I could never tolerate all the different masks that I tried. I mean, I just never could do it. So, you know, my sleep apnea actually, even to this day, right now, is still untreated. I've tried it and went back and tried it, went back, and I keep having good intentions to do it. But, you know, I'm just one of those dudes, man. I cannot deal with having something on my face when I'm trying to sleep. And I've tried all the different ones. I've had the dream mask, like the dream wear where it just lays underneath your nose, the pillows, like all that stuff, you know.
And do you still have it today?
I still haven't. Actually, I just went back and had another sleep study done just before I started this.
Right.
Before I started with Juice Fast. And my sleep apnea was way worse than it had been previously. Because at that point, I mean, I'm almost 700 pounds, right? So sleep apnea was horrible, man. And so she put me on a BiPAP machine instead of the CPAP machine. She thought the BiPAP machine would help me a lot.
Right.
And same story. I tried it and I just couldn't do it. Just could not do it. So.
Unreal.
So even right now, I got a machine sitting right next to my bed. Matter of fact, like 2 weeks ago, I just got a new mask in the mail, and I keep having these intentions of, you know, putting this thing on and trying it again. But I don't know. I just can't seem to get myself to do that part of it. But
holy cow!
I would say my sleep has definitely improved, though. I mean, honestly, losing almost, you know, over, you know, almost 400 pounds at this point. So, like, you know, my sleep has gotten better, but I'm still definitely having sleep apnea issues for sure.
So how tall are you exactly? You must be giant. You wouldn't
believe it if I told you, brother. I was actually 6'3.5". It's on record through my doctor's office. I was actually 6'3.5". And just recently, I went to the doctor, and they actually took my height, and they said I was 6'1.25". And I'm like, nah, man, you guys, you need to remeasure. You got something screwed up here. And they're like, no, that's 6'1.25". I'm like, what? So anyway, so I started talking to the doctor about that, and I guess all the years of walking around, like, you know, my spine must have like compressed down or whatever he tells me, because he's like, it's like your spine is like in between, it's like a sponge, you know?
Yes. And you know what's funny? You will get that height back. I feel like I grew a half an inch when I started losing the weight, because just naturally your posture just starts to adapt to the new body. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping.
And you know, like as you lose weight, you just naturally want to exercise more. You want to do things more, and wait until you get under the 300 mark, because that's when the sleep apnea is going to go away totally. I almost promise you that. There's something about that 300 mark that just takes away the inflammation around the neck, and like just the heaviness that we have in our head starts to you start to lose that there, and then you're able to breathe again, because that's what happened to me. As soon as I hit about 280, I was like sleeping better. Like everything just started changing. I just felt like the pressure was off. You know, the sleeping really drove me nuts, and I knew I was waking up like gasping for air. Did you ever have those nights where you're just like, oh man, it was horrifying to me. Like I would wake up my wife like, oh, I'm gonna die, and then like I would get my air back and then fall back to sleep. It was just horrifying being past that number. But it's just amazing to me that you just kept. You passed the 400 mark. You passed the 500 mark. You passed the 600 mark. And before, when your son like talked to you and was like, "Dad, let's juice together." Like I watched this Joe Cross thing, like, you know, and you're like, "Yeah, you remember we watched that together," kind of thing. Like that made me want to cry right there, because it was your son that really sparked you're like, you know what? Let me finally do this, you know, because I've had this power in my pocket this whole time, and you were like, I got to use it. It's time to use it.
Yeah.
And
well, I'll be honest with you. You know, I had a lot of years of, you know, kind of. There's a lot of years there that I had different things going on. I tried different diets. I mean, I've done keto. I've done Atkins. I've done.
Me too.
You know, several different diets, right?
Yep.
And I just struggled, and you know, here's the thing, man. It's like, the weight loss for me, losing weight was never really the issue. Like I could always lose weight really easily when I put my mind to something. But it's like we all know, it's you know, it's not the taking the weight off this problem. It's the keeping it off. It's the changing your habits. It's the
lifestyle change
routines and breaking the old molds and stuff. You know, trying to get out all the old routines and habits that you have. That's the hard thing to break. So, you know, for me, what I always tell everybody that asks me about this and whatever is I tell them, like, man, it starts with your head. You gotta fix your mind before you can fix your body, man. You fix your mind, your body follows, right? So, you know, in this process of time over this last year, I've been doing a lot of work, you know, mentally as well, trying to figure out a lot of things and kind of figure out like what puts a dude to 700 pounds? Like what is it that created that got me to that point? You know, like what was so bad in life that I almost ate myself to death? Because that's literally where I was at. I mean, I was at the point where I was nearing the end, man. I'm telling you, I felt it. I felt like I didn't make a change at that point in time, that I was probably going to be dead in the next, you know, year to 2 years. I mean, that's kind of where I was at with things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I felt the same way at 325. I mean, I felt like, because it was to the point where I couldn't walk upstairs. I had the hypertension. I had the swollen ankles. I couldn't stand up for a long time. I was definitely borderline everything: cancer, diabetes, heart disease. I mean, you name it. Anything that comes with obesity, I was knocking on the door of it, especially when the sleep apnea kicked in. So we both been on that right there. We both drew that line. Honestly, I can't imagine. But the human body's amazing. It finds a way to adapt. Like, look, you hit the 700 number, and just absolutely, and your body was just like, all right, you know, this is what I'm dealing with, and just powered on through. It's just absolutely remarkable, and your message is so strong. So, what basically? Okay, now you told me that you're 6'1". Now you was 6'3". I think you're going to be 6'3". What has given you that 250 number in your head? Because my number is a lot smaller than you, but you haven't hit that 250 number yet. Because I'm assuming that 250 was like your high school football, college fighting weight.
Yeah, I mean, I've been somewhere around between 250 and 280. I'm pretty solid. I've always been a pretty muscular dude, pretty big guy. So
Right. So, but because in my eyes, and this is, and now I'm going into the John Rose era because obviously I'm all about raw food now, and raw food has changed my life. I figured out how to make raw food delicious, and I'm 99% raw. My 1% is a sweet potato once in a blue moon, But as for that, it's just completely just my life changes with plants, So like, and basically what you're doing right now. So you're just turning plants into liquid, and when you get off, and I assume you're gonna get off one day, like. I don't, like you'll have to, I guess you'll have the rebound, and I guess you'll be back and forth trying to figure out what you could actually eat. And I know for a fact the closest you are to living food, like fruits and veggies, and basically everything you've been juicing, is the way to eat when you finally do come off your juice fast. Like, do you have like a bunch of protocols? Like, do you think that you're going to do, like, are you going to celebrate at 250 and jump off? Because I know when you hit the 280 mark, when you hit the 250 mark, I know you're not going to want to stop. I know, because I know for a fact that's what happened to me. I had numbers in my head, like I had 200 pounds in my head, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to stop then. And I had like a 175 number in my head. Oh my God, I'm going to stop then. But then every time I hit those numbers, I was like, holy shit, I'm not done yet. And it actually frustrated me because I've done so much work already. When I hit those numbers, I was like, oh man, I'm physically not right. Like, I want to fully rebuild. I want to basically, and I joke around about this, I want to get to zero and just completely rebuild with plants. And I'm not kidding. Like, that's where I want to go now. Like, even I just came off a 100-day juice fast. I'm 2 weeks eating again. I can't wait to fast again. I can't wait to water fast. I can't wait to dry fast. I can't, like, fasting is going to be part of my life forever, only because I feel great doing it. I'm sure you do too. I'm sure there's days where you kind of do like a mono thing where you're just juicing like a certain fruit that you have a ton of that you have to get rid of. And how good do you feel when you're just doing like mono fruits? And like, I'm sure there's been days where you just like did one solid fruit, right? Or you always like mix it in here and there.
I've been really. What I'll do is I'll just take a bunch of stuff and throw it in.
Yeah, no, me too most of the time. But wait till you get to the next levels. Like, so what's your idea when you hit the 250 mark? Do you have like a plan? Are you?
Well, so when I get down to somewhere, and I've kind of always said, like, for me, it's going to be probably somewhere between 250, 280, right in that range is where I'd like to land. And the reason why I say that is because that's kind of where I was at before. And I'm, like I say, I'm pretty muscular guy, man. I've always been pretty muscular, so I like that kind of full build, kind of built look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So when I get down to that point, I figure that I'd like to do I'll probably transition to a whole food plant-based diet is where I'm going to go. And,
yes.
We'll just kind of start there. And then, I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody that I'm never planning on having another cheeseburger again in my life or whatever,
Oh,
or
right.
steak or whatever, right? So,
but which is okay. I mean, especially, you have the power. You already know. Like, even if you did get down to 280 and you just started celebrating with food and stuff like that and you hit the 300 mark, you just jump right back on and just get going with what you've done.
Right.
And maybe it'll just keep you stronger because that basically it's what happened to me. I just kept getting stronger and stronger every single time I went on a fast because I've been on multiple fasts. I just kept coming back to food, and the food just. She was just building it up because the whole plant-based diet too, you really have to build your microbiome to understand the change. And you're doing that now, your body's going to want to crave everything you're juicing. That's.
Yeah. What's crazy about the fact when you start juicing and you start like, I think that's been the most crazy thing for me is I had massive cravings before. I mean, I would literally sit down and eat a whole entire freaking like banana cream pie or some shit, right? Like I would sit down and eat that. I mean, like, you know, now I have no cravings like that anymore at all. Like I don't have all those sugar cravings and stuff that I was having from before. Like it's you know, like if I have a craving now for something, it literally will be for like, man, I want to juice up a pineapple or something, you know, like I want to have some pineapple juice or, you know, something or some carrots, you know, like some carrot juice or something like that, you know, so.
But
it's a pretty crazy change from where I was at before because I was craving a lot of crappy stuff. I was eating a lot of candy. I was eating a lot of frickin' ice cream. I was eating, you know, I'd eat cake. I mean, bro, I'm telling you, I don't know how you ate when you were big, but, you know, for me, I would eat a whole frickin' pizza. I'd go to Pizza Hut. I'd get like a meat lover's stuffed crust pizza and some breadsticks, and I'd put the whole thing away by myself. I mean, that's where I was at.
yes, oh my God. I mean, the same thing. Like, and you know what's the saddest part was every single time I ate, I felt that depression come over me, like when I was done,
yeah.
because I knew it was wrong, you know, and
Yeah.
I never got full. It was the craziest thing. Like I just never was satisfied, and I was always depressed after I ate. You know, it was just like once I found like raw living food and plants and vegetables, and once I found out how to make them taste like the old stuff I used to crave, like like a banana cream pie. You know how easy that is to make like a raw food banana cream pie, or you know, with cashew cream and bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
That's what's crazy is that you can. I mean, that's what I figured out over the last year, man. Is you can still enjoy all those things, but now you can enjoy it on a healthy level. You can take all this stuff and enjoy it on a healthier level instead of having all that. You know, it's like my kids. Like they're, you know, they still want, you know, ice cream, this, that, and the other thing. Which, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't give them that stuff here and there, but like,
right.
You know, I've tried to take now. I've got like this little ice cream, you know, frozen fruit machine, so we'll take like frozen bananas or whatever, and I'll make them like a healthy, you know, option of ice cream, and then actually they eat it, and they're like, oh man, this is actually really good, you know, so it's pretty cool.
I mean, just for them to see, because it's amazing, like my kids too. I mean, it's amazing the message that you're giving your children. I mean, it trumps what you've done. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing for them to see what you've done. Like you're turning them into two powerhouses too. You have a son and a daughter, right?
Yeah, I have a son and a daughter. My son's 15. My daughter's just turned 12.
Yeah. Mine is 12 and 8, and I mean, just they are so excited for my change, and I know it's got to be super exciting to them to watch everything that you've done and how much the struggle was, and just absolutely remarkable. Who knows, man? You might be turning those kids into big time plant-based leaders in the new world. You know,
it was pretty crazy, man. Like, I mean, I don't even really honestly know where to start, but you know, life kind of took a turn back in, you know, 2010. We went through a divorce, so that was pretty tough. I didn't do well with the divorce. I didn't want it, so
yeah,
it was pretty tough, and I got pretty depressed, and I just started eating all my emotions, you know. So I literally, you know, I'd already had, you know, weight issues before that, up and down, but I was just progressively getting bigger and bigger and bigger from 2000 and, you know, probably 2008-ish up till, you know, just this last year, right? So, you know, a lot of ups and downs, like I said, and, you know, I wasn't being the dad to my kids I wanted to be, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't go out and throw the football around with my son or play baseball with him or catch, or, you know, I couldn't hardly go on walks or, you know, any of that stuff. I mean, we would do some of that stuff, but that was before I hurt my knee.
Oh, right.
I ended up hurting my knee and falling off my truck, and like ended up, you know, screwing up my knee real bad. And then pretty soon, like, the knee took over, and the pain was always pretty intense. So, you know, I started getting real lazy, man. I started getting lazy. I didn't want to do a lot. You know, the pain was running my life. So it was like, you know, I knew it'd be painful to go out and walk or do this, that, and the other thing. So I was just choosing to sit on the couch, and I was just eating a lot. But, you know, like I said, I kind of went through that period of time where I was pretty depressed, you know, obviously for a lot of years. And And, family was broke up and, went from seeing my kids every day to seeing them every other weekend. And, so it was a lot of tough things going on, but, to that point last year where I decided I needed to make a change was I literally had I don't know if I would call it a breakdown, but my mom was over that night and I just had this kind of mental, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I was to the point where I don't know how things were for you when you were big, but
right.
I'm just going to tell you, I'm pretty straight up dude. So I don't pull no punches, but I mean, it was to the point, man, where I literally couldn't even wipe my own ass when I went to the bathroom. That's how bad it was. I was so fat that I could not even wipe myself. I had to go to the bathroom and then get in the shower, and I had to use a long washcloth, big long towel that I tore and use that between my legs, one hand behind and front and back, kind of washing myself. I mean, that's how pathetic my life was. That's how sad I was. I couldn't go, I couldn't even pee standing up anymore. I mean, I literally could not pee standing up anymore. I would go to the bathroom and I'd be peeing all over my legs. I mean, I was in such a dark freaking place that I literally just wanted to die. I didn't even care if I woke up the next day. I literally would have nights where I actually prayed that I just wouldn't wake up the next day. That's where I was at a year ago.
Holy shit. And that was just a year ago. It
was bad, man. And that's just a tiny little glimpse of things. But it was, I could barely walk. I couldn't walk 10 feet without being massively out of breath. I'd have to sit down. My knee, my knee from basically center to the inside of my knee is completely bone on bone. It's completely wiped out, bone on bone. So I could barely walk up and down stairs. The couch that I used to sit on at my dad's house was probably 20 feet from the bathroom. It was all I could do to get up out of that couch. And the couch is all broken down from me sitting on it. Over time, and the springs were all broke down. So I'm sunk way down to this couch, and then having to get out of it and walk myself to the bathroom and go to the bathroom. And bro, I'm saying, take a shower? I used to take showers every day. I stopped taking showers, man. I was taking showers maybe once a week, maybe twice, every 2 weeks or something. It was getting to that point because it was so exhausting for me just to go take a shower. I could barely fit the shower. I would have to turn sideways, and then just washing myself was a project. I mean, it was just insane, man. It was insane. I was just not the person that I had been my entire life. I'd always been a strong-willed guy and could do whatever I set my mind to. And once I set my mind to something, there was no stopping me. And I lost that somewhere along the way. And then I had this breakdown that night with my mom. And this was after that week that my son and I had talked about the juicing thing and about whatever. And I literally went to bed that night with the feeling of I hope I freaking die. I do not want to be alive anymore. I'm tired of this life. I can't do it no more. I was bawling, hysterically bawling. My mom was there. It was pretty upsetting. And then,
oh man,
I don't know, man. I woke up that next morning and I decided, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this, man. This is going to change. I'm
finally
changing this.
Yes, and it takes that moment, that way you're just so down, you're finally sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that's where you just completely change your life.
That's exactly what it was for me. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I mean, it was every day was a constant battle of just like you said, just being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I felt like crap all the time. I couldn't sleep. My body ached. I couldn't, I hated what I seen in the mirror. I hated how I looked. I was embarrassed to go out. I mean, my kids had school functions. I wouldn't go to them because, I'd been to school functions with them before. And, there's a specific few instances where I had been to some school functions and, the kid, my kids' friends had come up to them and said, man, your dad's really fat, right in front of them. My daughter started bawling, was embarrassed. I said, I'm not going back to any more of those things. So I literally just quit going to all their school functions and everything. I mean, that's how sad it was. My weight was affecting my kids. I wouldn't go to any of their school stuff. I mean, that's, I just wasn't being a dad, so.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I know I was getting to that point too. It was definitely, I was afraid for that. That always ran in the back of my mind. I didn't want my son's friends, picking on him basically. Hey, you look at your father and blah, blah, blah. Because, kids have no zipper. They'll just say whatever they want,
Yeah, kids are brutal, bro. They're brutal.
Yeah, they really are. And, My God, like you now you're like basically famous for what you've been doing, you know? Like I'm sure like you're like almost like a town hero.
Well, it's funny. I went and picked up my daughter here 2 weeks ago, and she came over for kind of a special, it was actually her mom's weekend, but she came over, and so her and I just had some one-on-one time and kind of hung out. But I picked her up, she got in my truck, and that was another thing. I couldn't drive either. I didn't drive for almost 2 years. Literally could not fit behind the wheel of my own truck. And my dad, it's like, he's 70 years old, walks with a walker. He's got a bad neck, back, hips, like all crippled up. He would literally have to be my chauffeur. He had to drive me everywhere we went because I would have to sit in the back seat of my own truck because I couldn't fit behind the steering wheel. So, now I'm driving again. I'm out, walking, and I'm going to the gym, and I'm doing all this stuff. Like, I can do all these things now. But I went to pick up my daughter here like a week or so ago, and she got in the truck, and we're driving along, and she's like, I kind of noticed out of the corner of my eye that she was like just like staring at me or something. I turned over and looked at her. I'm like, what are you staring at? And she's like, Dad, when the heck did you get to be so skinny? She's like, she's crazy. She's like, you don't even look like the same person anymore. She's like, it just hit me like you just don't even look like my dad anymore. You don't, when her mom and I divorced, she was a year old, so she's never ever seen me, anything but heavy. So.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I blow my son's mind away every day because my son grew up with me heavy. So, like, him seeing me in the 160s, I mean, I'm finally in the 160s, which is ridiculous. My legs look so small and everything. I'm really just a tiny guy now. I have never been tiny. It's just wild to see. And it's all juice. Right. It's all plants. We've done this all on plants, both of us. And this is the message that we need to get out. Like, okay. We're doing it. We're doing everything we can to get the word out, to inspire one, because I've always said that, because all we need is one person to inspire, and it just keeps spreading. Because you could, Chad, you could literally talk to thousands of people, like, and share your experience. But if you just get that one person, that's all that's needed, really, because that one person's just going to do what he does and kind of do what you do and just keep spreading that way. So the word just keeps spreading. I honestly think it's the cure-all. Like, it really is. What you're doing, what I'm doing, I mean, we're just getting rid of any type of ailment that we've had. I don't know how deep you want to go. I feel like you're going to go deep. I feel like, I know you're going to hit the 280 to 250 mark, and you're going to think of me. And you're gonna be like, Bobby was right. There's no way I'm stopping, because you're actually gonna get upset, and you're gonna have these times, and I can't wait for those times, because you'll be there already, right? Obviously,
yeah. You're
gonna have those times where you're gonna be like, shit, I wish I would have never came off, because I've said it every single juice fast, and I actually said it on my last feast. I made it to 100 days, and I had this whole big celebration in mind. I wanted to run through a marathon rope and all this stuff and celebrate with my kids and everything, and I did it. But honestly, I didn't want to come off, and really, I'm not. I'm jumping on another fast on May 5th with the Juice and Mama challenge. I'm going to do that, and then I basically want to do the whole Ramadan thing. I'm not Muslim or anything, but they have like this fasting protocol that I want to do, and I'm just like, all right, I'll do the whole fasting thing with that, just to have fun and challenge myself. But you definitely get to where all you want to do is get sexier and healthier. Like, you don't want to stop, because you've done so much work, and sex sells, to be honest. Like, the sexier you get, the more you're going to inspire, believe it or not. I'm
pretty good. I'm pretty damn sexy, so I'm with you.
Yo, Chad, I'm not kidding. Like, I seen you on the boat the other day. You had this video, you on the boat. And I was like, look at this guy. He is just straight killing it. Like, total inspiration. So you mentioned Joe Cross. Joe Cross was the guy that, like, sparked you, like Dan McDonald sparked me. Joe Cross, their team actually reached out to you. That little message that they sent you, like, listen, we're going to use you in our article. Where did that go? Did anything happen with that yet? Did you?
Well, no, I'll be honest. So I kind of put a post out here, I don't know, a few weeks back or whatever it was, but kind of after all that transpired, I had, I don't know, we've had a lot of tough stuff going on, man. I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend in that period of time, and then we had a family friend that passed away, my business investor, and just, you know, just a bunch of stuff going on. My grandmother, she's got Alzheimer's, just a bunch of stuff had been happening, and I honestly haven't even had a chance to email them back, but I was actually going to get ready to do that here this next couple of weeks and try to reach back out to them. So they've actually sent me a couple messages since that message and asked, you know, if I could get a hold of them. So just kind of life was going on, and I had a lot of trials and tribulations over the last month of things going on. But, you know, that's another thing. Like, in that period of time, over that last month, you know, if I would have been back a year ago, I would have been out stuffing my face full of fast food and garbage and whatever. But, you know, I was able to maintain my program and keep going through, other than the fact that I will say, admittedly, that there was days that I didn't juice at all just because I wasn't hungry. Like, I literally had no appetite there for, you know, about a week. So,
and that's totally fine.
I would have one juice, or I'd have, like, you know, I wasn't on my normal regimen, you know. So normally I would do like three 32-ounce drinks a day and whatever. But there was times there where I just could not get anything down. I just wasn't hungry. So, but, you know, to me, I don't look at that as a failure or look at that as like, oh, that's, you know, I didn't juice for however long or whatever, because I'm still on the program. I mean, I'm still doing my same regimen. So, like, I didn't look at it as a failure by any means.
No, not at all. Actually, the days that you don't juice are even better because, believe it or not, and nobody actually realizes this, but anytime you have fat, right, is fuel. It's fuel for a fast. I mean, that's what I've been saying forever. Like, the more I keep fasting, the more I realize, like, it's in every religion, it's in every culture. It's and we put a blind eye to it because there's no money in it. A doctor's never going to tell you to go on a juice fast. The doctor will scare the crap out of you to go on a juice fast. Like, too much sugar, all the BS that comes along with it. No protein, you know, like, it's all BS because we know there's tons of protein in fruits and veggies, believe it or not, especially in leafy greens, plenty of amino acids. But fasting, it's all about fasting. If you have fat on you, it's fuel for a fast. And what we're doing is basically a hack to a water fast, because if we really want to get to the next level, we have to water fast and kick ourselves into ketosis and let just be on fat burning machine, you know, just because, I mean, there's already history of it. A guy just about the same size as you drank water for 388 days and literally transformed himself just on water. So
right.
We don't even need to juice. Juice is just a hack, you know. Juice is just to get some calories in, just to get through the normal day, because usually when you're water fasting, you're kind of like a little bit tired. You go through different phases. You go through different, you know, you really should just sit at home and kind of be relaxed as possible. But when you're juice fasting, it's the super hack of all hacks, because I think 1 day of juice is like 1 day of water is like 3 to 7 days of juice. So
right.
That's how you got to look at it. And I know 1 day of dry fasting is like 3 days of water fasting. So we have all these protocols, all these fasting protocols that I'm sure you're going to want to experience. Like, even a mono fruit fast. Like, let's just say you did coconut water for a week. Like, believe me, you're going to get to the next level of health where you're going to want to do that. I know it. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the phone call from Chad. Yo, Bobby, what are you doing over there? I seen that you did water for 2 weeks. Like, I just want to start like dipping into that, you know, into that realm. Like, I'm ready for that. And I know you will be too, but don't do it. Do what you've been doing. Keep doing it, right? Hit that 250 mark. I can't wait for that number, because I know you want to celebrate and like start bringing in whole food plants and stuff like that, which is a great idea. That's definitely the first move you want to make is, you know, when you break this fast, you want to come into it real easy. You know, you don't have to jump right back into like tons of cooked food and pasta, and, you know, you just want to do like whole food, plant-based, you know, have your quinoa, your sweet potatoes, your salads. Have fun with dressing. Start doing that now. I'm sure you're making something savory at night that's like keeping you from eating, right? Like, because me, I had the V8 juice. Like, do you have like a certain juice that you juice at night for almost like dinner?
No, not really, bro. Honest to God, I'm pretty. I don't know, man. I don't have. I just kind of, Well, for instance, like there was. I think when I originally first started, I started out on the mean. Well, I started out doing 4 different juices a day. So I do 4 different juices or 3 different juices a day. Excuse me. I do 3 different juices a day, every day, and then that got to be a lot of shopping, a lot of different ingredients, a lot of whatever. And for me, at the point of time when I was starting, I'm like, I got to simplify this a little bit. So then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go to Mean and Green. I'm going to stay on Mean and Green for a week at a time, and let's see how that goes. So I ended up liking the Mean and Green so much that I think I stayed on the Mean and Green for probably like a month and a half, I think. So in that first 60 days of the juice fast, or my juice, I was going to do the 60-day thing like Joe did.
Right.
So the first 60 days, I took off 88 pounds in 60 days.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah. And a lot of that was Mean and Green, and then I had the first couple weeks there where I was trying different juices or whatever. But since that time, I've been kind of just adapting and making my own juices. Like I'll do, I do one that's got a lot of broccoli in it, and apple and orange, and I just mix a bunch of stuff up together. And I've got a lot of different recipes and stuff too. But to be honest with you, I've just kind of adapted and just started making my own juices. Right now, where I'm living on sweet potato pie. That's what I'm living on every day right now.
Yeah. Oh, so, right. I seen that recipe. It looks delicious, the sweet potato pie.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. But I'll change it. So I'm doing the sweet potato pie, but then I'm adding a bunch of carrot and I'm adding some broccoli to it.
Nice. Yeah, I have to try that. Yeah, because to me it was a bunch of tomatoes and garlic, and I kind of made my night into like a V8 night. It wasn't actual V8, but it was my own type of V8. Celery, tomato, and it just felt like I was having soup every single night. It was great. I enjoyed it. I made it hot. Do you mess with the peppers at all? Do you like making things hot?
So I did that. I did one juice with peppers, which was called like Australian Gold or something. Have you heard of that one?
Okay. All right. No.
And I couldn't do it. I drank that one. I'm like, oh man, this is good. I can tell I'll drink this one time. What's funny though is my buddy Troy from Australia.
Hello, Troy.
He loved it. Yeah, he was like all over it. I'm like, here, you got to try this one, Australian Gold. He tried it. He's like, oh man, that's really good. So he really liked it, but I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I like the heat.
I haven't done much in the way of the peppers or anything like that. But like I said, I've had a massive amount of different juices and stuff, and and what's weird is I don't have any desire, honestly. People continually ask me all the time, well, how long are you going to juice? Like, you're eventually going back to food, right? I mean, I basically, when I hit the year mark, I knew I was going to go, at least another 6 months, if not a year, which is probably where I'll end up. I mean, I'm going at least another 6 more months.
Nice.
And then we'll see where we're at in 6 months. And if I want to go, I might just go another 6 months after that and do 2 years of this. But
yes!
We'll see. Because I don't have any desire to go back to food, man. I'm a single dad, and I cook all the time for my kids, and I make them meals all the time and whatever, and it doesn't even faze me. The food doesn't faze me. My favorite thing is tacos. I love tacos. Mexican food, Chinese food, like those are my favorite things.
Chipotle.
I make all that stuff for them now, and before, when I was eating that stuff, my mouth would start salivating and whatever, right? Like now, it doesn't even faze me. I just make the stuff, no big deal, and people are like, oh man, how can you make the food and not want to eat it? And I'm like, I don't know, man, because I'm so far past food controlling me that it doesn't even, it's not even an issue anymore. Like the food before was, it literally controlled me. It was like that was my go-to for everything. And if I was happy, if I was sad, if I wanted to celebrate, whatever it was all about food, right? So
amazing.
now I'm past all that, So like I said, I'm doing totally fine on this juice fast. I'm totally fine with it. If I went if I could eat this way the rest of my life, and maybe who's to say I can't? Maybe I'll be the first guy to do it. I don't know. Like you talked about the doctors too. So my doctor. And I know we're running out of time here, and this sucks because I got a lot of stuff I want to tell you.
Right,
my doctor
actually
wanted me to do the gastric bypass. He wanted me to get that done.
Yeah, because there's money in it.
I know you were asking about this, so I'm going to touch on this real quick. He wanted me to do it, and he was pushing and pushing and pushing for me to do it. And he's like, then I was having some issues with my insurance, and in order, because I had so many health issues that were related to my weight, right?
Right.
In order for me to keep getting my insurance, they wanted me to go do the gastric bypass.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Seminar thing and all that stuff. So I went to one of those seminars. Actually, I went through 2 of those seminars in 2 different periods of time. But
holy crap!
Went to the seminar and listened to everything. But I knew at the end of the day, like, there was no way I was ever getting that deal done. I was just never going to do it. I've seen many people have done it before, and they gained all the weight back after they lost it. I got a buddy who just had it done, and he's gained a bunch of his weight back. You know? And had a bunch of health issues in between time.
And it doesn't fix your brain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just a Band-Aid. That's all it is.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody out there that's had it done and has maintained it. Congratulations to those guys. But there is a lot of people who just get in a desperate situation and they just give up and they just, you know.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but I will honestly say, too, that there's a lot of people out there that just flat out get lazy, and they just don't want to freaking take the time to do the freaking mental work that it takes to do the weight loss and keep the weight off. And then they just take the quick, easy way out, and they get the surgery done. And then the next thing you know, they gain all this weight back. And then it's like they wonder what's going on. Well, it's like I said, if you don't fix your mind, you're not going to fix your body. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So for me, it was never an option. So I went to my doctor, and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. And we had tried a lot of different stuff. He had put me on diet pills. He had put me on all kinds of different stuff, man. And I, when I started this deal, I was literally like 1 point from being in full diabetic, being full diabetes. Okay, I was like 1 point away from being in diabetes.
Right.
And I had that I probably was like that for about 9 years or something. And I was like that where I, was literally almost diabetic, right?
Right.
So at any given moment, I could have went into diabetic, or whatever you call it. But, I went to him and I said, this is what I want to do. And, I'm basically, what do you think about it? And he's like, man, at this point in time, I'm willing to try anything, whatever it takes to, try to get this weight off of you so you don't, he says, we got to do something because it's bad. Like my AFib was getting bad. I had mild pericarditis when I was younger, and I had some heart issues going on. And, my blood pressure when I started this was 180 over 100. And as of today, my blood pressure is 116 over 60, so, and I had an enlarged heart. And I just had an echocardiogram done here just a few weeks ago.
Right.
And then I went back to my doctor, and he's like, man, honestly, I don't even know what to say to you, because he's like, you're like a medical miracle or something. He's like, your heart has actually got back to normal size. He's like, I don't even know how that even happens.
Oh,
like,
my God.
Your heart back to normal size.
That is huge news. This is why you have to reach out. You have to shoot that email to Joe Cross, because you have so much information, and your message is so powerful. I'm just so happy that you're here with us right now on Raw Food City Radio Show, because your message is just incredible. You're gonna change lives. You know that. That.
I appreciate you having me on, bro. I appreciate the interest in the story. I mean, it's I've had an overwhelming amount of support through this process. I mean, my page has got, I don't know, almost 700 some members now. I think I started out with like 100 people, and I've got people sending me messages every day asking me about juicing and what I can do to help them and whatever. And I try to, my desire when this is all said and done is I've always been saying I'd like to go be a motivational speaker and fly around the country and talking to people and whatever, kids, and,
I'm with you,
adults, whatever. So.
I am with you, Chad. I just can't wait for that. It's the same thing. Like, I feel so comfortable because it's our story. You know how easy it is to tell our story.
Right.
It really is so simple, and people just have to make that first step and have that moment. I guess that moment where I had that moment too. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like, just had it, done it, cried. Just knew it. If I didn't get this done, I was gonna die. Like, it was just that. And once these people get past that first week, oh my God, the heavens open up. And it's that easy. It's just, but obviously we've come, there's bumps in the road, like you're going to have your bad days or you're going to have those detox moments and stuff like that. It's just getting through that, being involved in groups like you have that Facebook group. By the way, if you guys don't know, Overcome SMIRZ has that Facebook group. You could see his name there. Just search it there and go to his Facebook group. There's a lot of people supporting each other. The same thing with the Juicing Mama thing. The Juicing Mama Challenge basically pushed me to do the 100 days because I was like constantly back and forth, with fasting, and I never really got my 100 days because they call it the distance, 100 days. But you,
Right.
Solid Food Vacation, you are like blowing away the distance. You are doing the marathon of all marathons, and honestly, we'll probably be doing it for life. And me too. Every single time I come back to Solid Foods and I start dancing around what I'm doing now, I just can't wait to juice again. It's like it's the weirdest thing. And I feel my best when I'm juicing. And honestly, like when I come off juicing and then I keep to high water fruits and veggies, like, cucumbers, tomatoes, like for dinner, and then basically fruits during the day and fruit juices and smoothies. And if I just stick to that, I'm okay. But as soon as I start digging into like heavy salads and like start messing with sweet potatoes and stuff like that, like stuff that's savory and like making me get those full feelings again, I slow down. I'm not as jumpy as I was. I start gaining weight again. So I've been back and forth. And to me, it's almost exactly what you said, that you potentially could be juicing the rest of your life. Same with me. Like, I just feel my ultimate best when I'm juicing. And this is really the message that we're giving out, is that you could do 100 days. You could do a life on juice. Like, so many people are just afraid to juice because their doctors like scare them away with it, with the whole sugar thing. Oh, it's too much sugar. Yes, it's too much.
Well, I think it's important for everybody to know that, like, for me and my standpoint, I've been seeing a doctor and having my blood work done every 2 months as I've been going through this process. And I just had it done again here not more than 2 weeks ago.
Right.
The numbers came back excellent. My numbers have done nothing but improve the whole entire time. My fatty liver is almost reduced down to normal. Like, I mean, my, liver enzymes are excellent. They were really high when we started. My diet, my blood sugar levels are way low as far as, like, not in a bad range, but they're way down. Like, I'm so, like, my doctor's just beside himself. I've totally turned everything around, totally healthy. I got more weight to lose, but it's been a life changer for me, man. I mean, honestly, I'll probably, like you say, I'll probably juice the rest of my life for sure. I mean, I know for a fact I'll juice the rest of my life, but I'm saying as far as,
right.
If I'm on a juice fast the rest of my life, I can't say that for sure, but I definitely will be juicing the rest of my life for sure. But it's a huge thing. I would say anybody out there that has any doubts about it or whatever, like, look at you, look at me, look at, some of these other people that are, living examples of what it can do for you, because, I don't know too many people with 700 pounds that can walk around. I was walking around at 700 pounds. So
that's absolutely remarkable.
You mentioned that 600-pound life show. I've got a lot of people who told me that I should have been on that show. And, you see most of those people on 600-pound life, most of them are bedridden.
They're bedridden. And they're being,
a lot of them are bedridden.
Yeah, and they're getting food from their family and stuff. Like, oh, my God, like just feeding it.
Yeah.
Feeding the fire.
Yeah.
And you were actually up and around still. Like you were saying that you were getting up off that couch. I'm like, that's absolutely remarkable. I was listening to your story and just like being amazed and picturing everything, like the whole process of wiping and taking a shower and the struggle that you went through. And oh my God, with your kids and kids making fun and the whole thing. I mean, you basically gave us a movie just in this hour interview of what you went through and your success too. It's just, it's just so cool. And we only got 3 minutes left. So I know, that's it. We just keep your group. You just keep on top with that. Like it kind of runs itself. I know, like, people just keep supporting each other. Like they get involved with your group because they know what you're doing, and people ask questions, I'm sure. And then other people fill in. Like, it's not even, it's out of your control kind of. It's just this awesome little group that's doing it. Everyone loves to hear from you. So you coming on once a day or once a week, whatever you got to do, is great. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do have a YouTube channel. I'll be honest, it's the kind of same thing. It'll become SMIRZ. I haven't done much with it. I've tried to do stuff on there, but I haven't had very much luck on that or success. So, but I've got some new things in mind that I'm going to try, so I do need to get that up and going. I got my Instagram as well, but I think it'd be super cool. I was thinking about this yesterday, actually. You guys are back in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
But we should plan something, buddy. We need to get together. I think me, you, and Trisha. We should all get together. Is it Trisha, right?
Yes, Juicing Mama. Absolutely. Yeah. That would be incredible.
That we'll sit down, all three of us together, and do one of these things, right?
Yes. Whenever you want. I'm sure she'll drive down for it too, because she's close. She's in Canada. She'll just make the haul. She's on the road now. She's got she's on her 8th child. You know, she's raw as possible, being pregnant, and she just can't wait to juice again. But you know, she's gonna wait after the baby. And
yeah, right.
Yeah. Her story is great too. You know, she just jumped on 100 days and keep inspiring people with juice. And Joe Cross. And you know what's even great? Before we go, you know who you're inspiring more than anybody? You're inspiring your You're inspiring your doctor. And if your doctor, if your doctor can give that advice, if he can get his balls up, because honestly, there's no money in telling somebody to juice fast. There really isn't. You know, he could only be a nice guy and go, listen, I have this, my client Chad, blah blah blah. He's you know, I'm sure he's dealt with obesity before. Like, he might actually say, hey, go follow this guy, or do what you're doing. You know, like, if he starts doing that, my God, that's when the world changes, you know, like, because I know there's doctors out there who are really promoting the whole food plant-based diet and juicing, and they're really all for it. And just your doctor alone saying to you that day, when you said, look, this is what I want to do. I want to do the Joe Cross thing. I want to juice. And he was like, listen, I don't care what the wrong you do, as long as you just get the weight off. Him saying that right there and kind of like poo-pooing the surgery was just like amazing, because you were like going to these seminars and you were about to have it done. I mean, man, I'm just so happy that you did what you did, because you're going to change lives. And, you know, it's all about that one person. And thank you so much, Chad, Overcome SMIRZ, for being on Raw Food City Radio Show. This is great. And we will definitely keep in touch, and we will do this again, all three of us. Who knows? Like, we got to put it out there. I put it out there twice today, and it's all about law of attraction, right? We're going to go on tour. We're going to tour the world, and we're going to talk about juicing, and we're going to change lives one day at a time and one person at a time. So
I'm with you.
Thank you, Chad. Do you have any plugs you want to promote besides Overcome SMIRZ on Facebook?
No. Yeah, Overcome SMIRZ on Facebook and my Instagram page. Liquid Life Overcome SMIRZ. Everybody check that out. So I'm trying to get more followers there.
And it's Overcome SMIRZ at SMRZ. Oh, man.
SMIRZ.
Yeah, SMIRZ. Yep. And look at Bobby Buns, you know. We both got the Z going there.
Yep. Well, I sure appreciate you having me on today, brother. And like I said, I mean, obviously it takes a lot to there's got to be a lot going on in the background throughout life to get yourself to the point where you were at or I was at 700 pounds. So maybe we do a part 2 to this thing. We can get a little more into, you know, a lot of my stuff started out from childhood. So maybe we can deep into that, some of that stuff, kind of get into some of that.
Yes, absolutely. I said it yesterday on my YouTube channel that this is definitely just the beginning of us talking about this. Because you said it right away, 48 hours. Easy 48 hours. We could do like 48 shows. Just in this alone. So thank you so much.
I feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes. I feel like I've already lived 10 lifetimes. So
yes, exactly. Me too. It's a whole new life. We're reborn again. We hit the reset button. I can't wait to. It's just so exciting to keep watching your journey. Your journey is just going to keep continuing. I have like a whole new thing where I'm trying to rebuild my skin. So this is like the best thing ever, and all my info I'm gonna give to you, obviously, because I know you're gonna get to where I am, and we're just gonna keep working together and just keep inspiring. And thank you so much, Chad. Okay, here we go.
Appreciate you having me on, brother. And I'm just getting started. So this is day one for me. I'm just getting started right now.
Yes, that's it.
A long way to go yet.
All right, thank you, Chad. Later.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Peace. Thank you, everyone. That was Raw Food City with Overcome SMIRZ. Woo! We did it. That's our 4th episode. We're here every month, every 4th Thursday, Raw Food City Radio Show. We're bringing in people. We're just inspiring. We're inspiring one. We're inspiring all. And that's it, man. You don't have to be heavy anymore, and you could love life. Peace. love. HamiltonRadio.net. Oh, we did it. Love yous.